Skinny Hardaway Sutton T, back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor, y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If this your first time, do your boy solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button there as well. We talk this good boxing, MMA, sports, parlays, predictions every single day, not just today. Today we here with a PFL Europe breakdown. This fight card will be going on Friday, December 8th. It's starting at 11 a.m. So it's a bright and early card over here in the States, 11 a.m. on the Friday. A lot of us over here in the States gonna be at work. Some of us, might already be out, might be getting off work, gotta go back to work that night, right? So you might be able to catch it, right? But this card gonna be PFL Europe. This card originally had about 15 fights, right? But a lot of the fights got canceled. We only go over about 10 of these things, 10 fights on the card that I know didn't get canceled for sure, right? I already put these, this junk in my parlay. I already got my best made. I know where I'm going. I know how I'm going and everything. So I ain't gonna waste too much of y'all time, right? Because the NBA start early today at 4, right? It's 2 p.m. Central, right? It started at 4 Central, right? So that's 5 Eastern. So we got about 2 hours until the NBA start, right? And I want to go get in my place for that as well. We gonna go live a little earlier today, and we gonna run through the NBA props and whatnot, NBA props and plays, right? We gonna be here for the game. Y'all know how we like to do it over here, but I digress. This PFL Europe card again is tomorrow, Friday, 11 a.m. We gonna start from the top of the card, and we just gonna work our way on the way down, right? The card starts at 11:30. I see 11:30, 11:35, right? So let's get it. In the first fight, we got Connor Hughes versus Santana Guides. In this fight, I think they kind of put this fight together for Connor Hughes to flourish, right? For Connor Hughes, to win. I think it's kind of like a showcase fight for Hughes. While I do think Santana Guides is comparable, I don't think he's on the level of Connor Hughes. So I got Connor Hughes in the one of those showcase kind of fights, right? Feeling ultra confident about that. Connor Hughes over Guides. Kind of the same thing going on, right, with Dom Wooden versus Cadiz Bundo, right? Cadiz Bundo hasn't had a fight in about a year and a half, and before that, he hadn't had a fight in about 3 years, right? Dom Wooden is the much more active fighter, much better fighter, much better striker. You know what I mean? I think he's even better on the ground. This is kind of a mismatch fight too, as well, right? Another one of those showcase kind of fights. D-Man, what's good, man? What's good, D-Man? I run through this thing, D-Man, so we can do the NBA that start at 4 p.m., right? This is the PFL fight card for tomorrow. It started at 11 a.m. in the morning, so we gonna wake up bright and early for this thing, right? But I digress. In the first fight, we got Connor Hughes over Santana Guides. In the second fight, we got Dom Wooden over Cadiz Bundo. I'm gonna drop the timestamps in here. At least I'm gonna do the rundown at the end. I'm gonna do the rundown at the end, and I'm gonna timestamp that at least, right? But I digress. In the third fight, we got Tom Breeze versus Clinton Silva. I think these odds are a little close, right? I think Tom Breeze probably should be favored about more, but I think people are kind of afraid of Tom Breeze, right now because he had that loss in his fight before that. But if you go back and you watch that one recent loss that Tom Breeze had, because Tom Breeze's other losses was the people who are still currently in the UFC. He also lost to the current UFC middleweight champion, right? So that's not a bad loss, for Tom Breeze to have, right? And Sean Strickland. But I digress. Tom Breeze he lost. He had been on the winning streak for about 4 or 5 years until 2 fights ago. But I think he got hit with an illegal elbow, right? And that caused him to lose that fight that the referee completely missed. So I think Tom Breeze is a lock on this card as well, right? So I got Tom Breeze over Silva in that fight as well. So we just ran through the first 3 fights. We got Connor Hughes, we got Dom Wooden, and we got Tom Breeze. Moving it right along to Brent Johns. He's going up against David Crawl. And again, another fight I kind of feel like it's one of these showcase fights, right? I think Brent Johns is much better all around. I think Brent Johns is UFC caliber type of fighter, right? He actually has been in the UFC before, right? Got some close fights with some very good people, right? Only got losses again against high caliber, UFC fighters still to this day. Does Brent Johns I think Brent Jones runs through David Crowd, right? So we got Brent Jones in that fight over Crowd as well. And just to give y'all some measures real quick, like Connor Hughes, I think he could win by knockout or points, right? Dunn Wooden probably go win by knockout. Tom Breeze probably go take Silver down. He can go points knockout. I think Brent Jones is going to win by points knockout as well, right? Knockout or points as well, right? Brent Jones. Moving right along, we got a closer fight now, right? Now we're moving more into the closer fights, the toss-up fights, right? We got Lewis McGrillen Evans versus Wesley Meyer. McGrillen Evans, I like McGrillen Evans, man. He's kind of a monster, dog. He's one of them dudes. He athletic guy, fast guy, strong. You know what I mean? Patient, knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and when he strike, he's striking hard and he's striking fast. Possesses extreme knockout power. Right, pretty good at the wrestling defense. He would much rather strike. Haven't seen him have to use his offensive wrestling, right? Seen him use his defensive wrestling, and he does it pretty well. He's facing off against Wesley Meyer. I think this is a good, a good fight on the whole, right? I do think this fight could go either way, right? But I think the explosiveness of McGrillen Evans is going to give Meyer a problem. If Meyer could kind of, weather that storm of McGrillen, lay on him, hold him down, wrestle him a little bit, it could get a little tougher for McGrillen. But I think the explosiveness and athleticism of McGrillen, that's going to be a real hard thing to do. You know what I mean? If you Wesley Meyer. Not saying impossible, but it's going to be hard. I don't think, Meyer will be able to pull that feet off. So I got McGrillen Evans in that fight over Wesley Meyer. I think that's going to be one of the more exciting fights on the card, if not the best fight on the card, right? But I digress. We moving on to Simon Powell and Jacob Nodo, right? This fight is another toss-up, I think, kind of fight. We got Jacob Nodo facing off against Simon Powell. I like Simon Powell, good overall, fighter would much rather strike, right? Would much rather strike. And you got Jacob Nadal. He's pretty comfortable anywhere the fight goes. Also would much rather strike as well, right? Jason Nadal. I think this fight is going to be fought mostly standing up. And I think either of these guys, right, has the ability to win this fight. I think somebody is going to sleep in this Powell versus Nadal fight. If nobody goes to sleep, I'd be surprised unless it's one of those fights where both guys, chins just seem to hold up. And they just in that thing teeing off on each other, right? And somehow they both are able to withstand tremendous punishment, right? Which very well could happen. I don't think this fight is going the distance, right? I could say I would be shocked and I wouldn't be shocked if it went the distance because I've seen guys who I think are supposed to knock each other out, right? Two guys go in there, both guys got mad chins and nobody get knocked out, right? And both guys just get ragged out and dropped all night. So I've seen it, right? But I would be kind of surprised if this fight went the distance. I'm going with Simon Powell in this fight. I think he wins the stand-up battle. I think he's able to land the more damaging, devastating shots. He kind of at times leaves. He kind of at times he leaves his defense in question, right? At times, but I think in this fight, Jacob Noda, I don't think he has enough, right? I got more belief in Simon Powell's. I don't want to say heart, right? But I just seen Simon Powell, you know what I mean, in sticky situations, right? And I trust him more in, a gruesome kind of fight. I trust his chin more. I trust his durability more, right? I should say. So I'm going Simon Powell in that fight. That fight most definitely is a toss-up as well. Could go either way. I'm more confident in Simon Powell. I kind of think he knocks out Jacob Noda. So I got Simon Powell in that fight. We got Dakota DeChiva versus Valentina Scatizzi. Man, it's gonna be a murder. Well, I'm not even betting on that fight. That fight is minus 5,500. I'm not betting on that fight, right? DeChiva, she gonna beat her. She gonna beat her pretty easy. We ain't gonna waste too much of our time on it. We gonna keep it moving, right? We got Dallin Turk versus Yazad Coaching. Dallin Turk in this fight, he's coming off a loss. If not in his last fight, his fight before last, he got knocked smooth out, right? He kind of likes to leave his chin in the air, and I think fighting against a guy like Yazad Coaching, I think there's recipe for him to get knocked out. I think this is a bad style matchup. for Tuck in this fight, and I think Yazid is going to be able to chin him. I think that fight ends within like the first round due to the style matchup, right? And I think it ends brutally. I got Yazid Chuchin in that fight, and I got him by knockout. Right? I be butchering his last name. I know I'm butchering his last name, but I got Yazid over Tuck in that fight, right? Uh, but we go keep it moving. That's my first underdog, on the card. I got Yazid Chuchin over Dallin Tuck. I think Dallin Tuck is ready to be knocked out, and I think Chuchin is going to do it for him, right? I think this fight right here is the most toss-up of the toss-up, right? I ain't gonna lie. It's a few fights on here where I think it's toss-up. This fight right here is pretty close, right? We got wrestler versus wrestler, grappler versus grappler. I do think what scares me, right? I'm going John Mitchell in this fight, right? I'm going John Mitchell because physical guy, strong guy, wrestler, take you down, ground you down, good ground and pound, trust his gas tank. But this is a dangerous fight for John Mitchell because Jacob Kazuba, he has good submissions, right? He's not a guy who's admits to slapping a submission or two on you. So even when he's on the ground, he's still a threat to submit you. This is most definitely going to be a wrestling match, right? I'm taking John Mitchell, right? And I'm about at 60-40, confidence on the other because this is a wrestling match. And I do think there's a threat of, Kazuba pulling out a submission. John Mitchell is a great wrestler, right? Not really heavy on the submissions, right? But I'm going to take John Mitchell. I think he grinds it out. I don't think he get caught in one of those submissions, right? I think he grinds out a 3-round wrestling match over Kazuba. So I got John Mitchell over Kazuba. I literally went back and forth on that fight, right? I had Kazuba earlier, right? But I'm going to go that John Mitchell doesn't get caught in a submission. He stays disciplined, and I got John Mitchell in that fight. We got Kakarov versus Malumba. Francis Malumba versus Khurshid Kakarov. Khurshid Kakarov is coming out there upset win over Talib in a great fight. I actually picked Talib to win that fight. Kakarov, he took that fight from Talib in about the second round. Beautiful fight. He almost stopped, Talib almost stopped him, but he pretty much dominated that fight. He dominated that fight. He won that fight in pretty convincing fashion, did he? And I didn't expect him to win at all. He's going up against Francis Malambo. Malambo is a good striker in his own right. I think Kakarov is the more all-around. This is the co-main event right here, y'all. I think Kakarov is the more all-around fighter of the two, right? I think anywhere this fight goes, he's comfortable. If this fight is standing, Malumbo is comfortable and he can win a striking battle, right? But I think at some point they're going to engage, and I think Kakarov is going to realize that, he's physically stronger. I think he's going to win. I think he can win this fight on the ground or standing up, right? So I'm going with Kakarov because I feel like he has more ways to win this fight, right? So that's what I got in the co-main event. In the main event, I think it's sneaky scary, right? We got Nathan Kelly versus Demetrius Solomis. Now, Solomisa, he's a big underdog, right? But he gets knockouts, right? He's a strong guy. He know how to throw his hand. When he throw his hand, people fall. You know what I mean? If he could catch anybody, change a fight, and beat anybody. The thing in this fight, I'm expecting Nathan Kelly in the main event to be able to wrestle him, control him, and make this fight nice and boring. You know what I mean? So in that main event fight, we're going with Nathan Kelly to make that fight nice and boring. You know what I mean? So I'm going to drop this thing in a parlay. We getting ready to do the rundown, right? I'm about to drop this in the chat. The rundown at we're going to do the rundown at 16:30, right? Let me put that on the screen. Let me put that on the screen. We're getting ready to do the rundown, right? So in that first fight, we got Connor Hughes over Santana Guidas. In the second fight, we got Dom Wooden over Bondo. We got Tom Breeze over Silva. We got Brent Johns over David Crow. We got the killing Lewis McGrillen Evans over Wesley Meyer. We got Simeon Powell in the good fight over NATO. We got the Chiva by murder over Skatizi, right? We got Yazid Chochin over Dallin Tuck in our first upset of the night. We got John Mitchell in the close fight over Kazaba, Jacob Kazaba, right? We got Kakarov Kershid over Francis Malumbo in a good fight. And we got Nathan Kelly over Demetrius Solomis in the closer fight than I think a lot of people, you know what I mean, are thinking, right? If you're asking me to go method, win or lose, right, I'm thinking Connor Hughes. I think he wins. I think he wins by stoppage. I don't think. I'm gonna go points. I'm gonna go points or KO in it against Connor Hughes. Right, so we're gonna go Connor Hughes points or KO. Right, we're gonna go Wooden KO, Tom Breeze submission or KO, Brent Johns KO or points, McGrilly KO, Samuel Powell points or KO, Dechiva KO or points, Chuchin KO over Took. We got John Mitchell points over Kazuba. We got Kakarov points over Malembo. And we got Nathan Kelly points over Demetrius Solomon. So that's my rundown, y'all. Y'all can meet me back on the other side. I'm getting ready to make the bets for today. Actually, right, we got NFL football tonight. We got NCAA football. We got NBA starting at 4. So y'all meet me on the other side. Skating the Hardaway Southern T. This ain't the past. This ain't the future. But just the present. That's how we rocking. And I'm out. So y'all make sure y'all take